scientists and scholars from around the globe gather for what has become the most important and unique conference of its kind, the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences. The conference was founded by the Reverend Sun Myung Moon in 1972. Its modest beginning was in New York, where 20 participants from 8 nations gathered to discuss problems of the moral orientation of the sciences. The following year saw the membership triple. The second conference, held in Tokyo, Japan, brought together 60 scientists and scholars from 12 nations under Chairman Dr. Nobushige Sawada. The third conference was held in London, England. That year, the number of participants had again more than doubled. 128 scholars, including 18 Nobel Prize winners. The chairman was the distinguished Nobel laureate, Lord Adrian. In 1975, the fourth conference was again held in New York City. 300 participants from 50 nations met under the chairmanship of Nobel laureate Dr. Robert Mulligan. The fifth conference convened the following year in Washington, D.C. Here, 360 scholars from 53 nations discussed the need for harmony among the sciences under the guidance of the Nobel laureate, Sir John Eccles. Beautiful San Francisco greeted the 6th annual conference in November of 1976. 400 participants from 57 nations attended, again under the chairmanship of Sir John Eccles. The following year found the conference in Boston. The conference attendance had grown to 450 participants representing 60 nations, under the chairmanship of Nobel laureate Dr. Eugene Wigner. Los Angeles was the site of the 8th conference in 1979. The theme, the responsibility of the academic community in the search for absolute values, was again under Chairman Dr. Eugene Wigner. 485 scholars from 64 nations attended. And the 9th conference was held in Miami Beach, Florida. Dr. Morton Kaplan, chairman, welcomed 560 participants from 80 nations to discuss absolute values and the search for the peace of mankind. In less than 10 years, the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences has grown from just a handful to embrace representatives from all over the world and from every field of the sciences. Seoul, Korea, November 1981. 10th International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences was held in the homeland of its founder, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. For him, it holds a special meaning to host the 10th anniversary of the conference in his native land. Participants arrive in Seoul from all over the world, making this year's gathering the largest ever. 800 participants from over 100 nations. A complex of 3 hotels is used to accommodate the conference's busy schedule. The opening reception avails an opportunity for the participants to meet the Reverend Moon and the conference chairman, Dr. Morton Kaplan. Science has developed with the ideal to improve the human condition. However, it is clearly evident in a world plagued with environmental pollution, poverty, and war, that there is a misdirection of our scientific knowledge. Underlying this fact is a fundamental crisis of values, the loss of confidence in traditional religious and philosophical beliefs as a standard of moral and ethical behavior, and hence, a less than efficient and responsible use of scientific knowledge for the benefit of mankind. However, there is a growing awareness among the scientific community for the need to harmonize the diverse fields of knowledge with a guiding standard of value.
I consider it a unique opportunity to be associated with different sciences from various fields. I'm myself a pathologist, and it is not very often that one finds oneself associated with the scientists in as wide a range of disciplines as we have in this conference.
What I find most interesting and valuable is the idea of bringing humanists and scientists and social scientists together to explore not just one subject, but many subjects that involve different disciplines, different parts of the world, even opposing political and academic views.
Sejong Cultural Center, a brisk, snowy morning, greets not only the conference participants, but also Korea's foremost academic community for the opening plenary session.
Good morning. Also oshipsho. Welcome to Korea. My name is Neil Salonen, and it's been my privilege to serve as the Secretary General of this 10th ICUS conference. This 10th ICUS conference represents a celebration in many ways to us. ICUS began with a small conference of 20 participants representing 8 nations in New York. A grand idea under the inspiration of Reverend Moon, which few who attended at that time would have believed could have grown as ICUS has to a conference of this size this year. At this time, really to begin our program, I would ask you to join me in welcoming the man who will introduce our founder, Dr. Rubenstein.
Greetings and welcome to our most honored guests from all over the world. It is my high privilege this morning to introduce the founder of the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences, the Reverend Sung Myung Moon, to the participants and observers of ICUS 10, the first to be held in his native land. With his unique gifts, he has united the private and the public dimensions of religious life and concern, as he has daringly and imaginatively utilized the very power of technology to serve as a force for healing the ruptures in the individual and the body politic created by our permanent revolution. Instead of retreating within the history and tradition of his own nation in the face of the technological revolution, he has sought to utilize the histories, traditions, and experiences of all peoples, both Eastern and Western, to foster a new vision of the spiritual unity of mankind. As we gather together as his guests in his native land to hear his message, it is my very great honor to present him to you, the most honored and revered teacher, the Reverend Sung Myung Moon.
Honorable Chairman, Committee Chairman, distinguished professors, and ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply grateful that you have come to Korea to attend the 10th International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences.
He went on to speak about the serious confrontation of the upper and lower classes on the worldwide level. The most probable way to solve this problem is to unite the upper and lower classes through the Asian people who would act as a mediator between the white Euro-American societies and the black and brown peoples of Africa and Latin America. In order for this to take place, a new worldwide civilization must emerge, uniting East and West. If we look at peninsulas geographically, we can see that they are centrally located so as to connect land and ocean. In the past, new civilizations have always significantly flourished on peninsulas. As the new Pacific civilization emerges, it is evident that the center of the new culture will be the Korean Peninsula, where the Eastern and Western cultures are merging.
As a conclusion, I would like to make a proposal. It is to construct a Great Asian Highway Zone, which would run through the China, Korea, and Japan, and then eventually link the world by constructing a great free world highway zone to connect the whole world. This highway would be the great international highway around which freedom is guaranteed. And it would go through mainland China, crossing the Korean Peninsula, from north to south, to an underwater tunnel to bridge to Japan, and moving north through the entire Japanese island. Thus, by uniting the Asians, it would eventually become possible to connect the upper and the lower classes of the world with the yellow peoples, serving as a mediator. Thus, through completing the unrestricted Asian highway and realizing the historically long cherished ideal of joining the upper and the lower classes, a great migration of the yellow peoples will come about, with Asia as its starting point, by establishing a realistic, unified economic sphere, and connecting the East and the West in the new civilization. The peace of the new world can be realized. Centering on the God's love, which is the absolute value. I sincerely hope that all you distinguished participants from all over the 100 countries of the world who are participating in this memorable international conference on the unity of the science here in Korea will have deep insight into these matters and will offer concrete cooperation regarding them. Thank you very much.
I want to welcome all of you.
Dr. Morton Kaplan,
and most
Conference Chairman.
representative ICUS conference. The 10th year is a very special year, and that is the reason it is being held in Korea, the home of the founder. The idea that science and values lay in two different and competing areas is one of the most disastrous that has characterized the 20th century. Here, under the founder's vision, we attract people who are like-minded, not with respect to our concrete views on foreign policy, development, government organization, but like-minded in that we recognize the intimate relationship between so-called facts and so-called values, which are merely different aspects of human transactions with the world.
Dr. Ulf von Euler, Conference Vice Chairman.
Well, Korea has given us a warm and friendly welcome.
The conference will convene for a period of 4 days. In order to cover the greatest range of topics, the conference is divided into 5 committees, each dealing with different aspects of this year's theme. Each committee is chaired by a noted scholar in his field of research.
We will treat the present.
Committee 1,
Concern ourselves
Comparative
with
Development, the Present, chaired by Mr. John Golden,
the other
president of the consulting firm Quarry Hill Limited.
Judgment or
the general theme of Committee 2
Committee 2,
is the role
Technology and Society in Transition, chaired by Dr. Alvin Weinberg, director of the Institute of Energy Analysis, Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
The future of science and technology.
Committee 3,
It will affect
The Future of Technology and Society, chaired by Dr. Kenneth Mellenby, Director Emeritus, Monk's Wood Experimental Station, England.
About the East, especially Japan and Korea, but
Committee
also
4,
the ASEAN nations,
Transformations of the Individual in
Hong Kong,
Society,
Singapore,
chaired by Dr. Richard
are
Rubenstein,
approaching equality,
Distinguished Professor of Religion,
technologically
Florida State
speaking.
University.
but also the opportunity to examine
Committee 5,
our consciousness.
Transformations in Consciousness, chaired by Dr. Carl Pribram, professor of neuroscience, Stanford University.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Special guest speaker,
I
Dr.
consider
Tae-Hwan Shin, president of the National Academy of Sciences in Korea.
and privilege to be afforded this opportunity to present some welcoming comment to such a distinguished gathering of scholars as have assembled here this morning. Welcome to Korea.
We can see the change.
For the
in fact,
scientists,
about 8 different
it is a rare opportunity to gain a comprehensive view of new developments in other fields of science.
First, the notion of the joint stock company adopted by Japanese at the Meiji Restoration period would be an example of acquiring something.
Modernization of a new nation involves the creation of new holistic culture and workable institutions based on the marriage of tradition and westernization.
All the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean are classified as less developed or developing, although there are wide disparities in levels of development and standards of living among the various countries.
That is, the topic of it was called the spiritual progress and social progress and economic development, or something similar to that. And this is the first time that Wall Street Journal has featured anyone of standing such as Dalai Lama.
What we propose to do in this meeting is make 3 presentations on Christianity, communism, and Islam as the 3 supranational movements most worthy of consideration.
For example, there was some thought that certain genetic characteristics did conduce toward crime. The presence of the XYY chromosome in a male was supposed to make him aggressive and inclined to commit crimes of violence, but it seems to have been shown now that this is not true.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mrs. Moon holds a reception for the women participating in the conference.
Thank you.
It is a
From
special
bottom of
occasion
my heart
because it is the
for
first
coming
time
to
that she
my
has addressed the
country
public.
in the Orient. Reverend Moon and I have wanted to bring you to our homeland for a long time. They say that behind every great man there is a woman. In this sense, I respect you all very much. You have made your husband successful. You have helped them create many things to help mankind. I also try to be a wonderful helper for my husband, Reverend Moon. But it is hard because, as you know, his ideas and goals very high. Sometimes I wonder how good a job I am doing to help my husband. I never get a report card. If you have a chance to ask him, please do so and let me know his answer. Today, the world situation is becoming dark. Many families are breaking up. My heart is so sad to see this. I think women must give love and must practice a sacrificial spirit. When God dwells in every home, the parents and children will have God's love and hope. With families as the cornerstone of society, then our nations and world will become very beautiful and filled with God's love. We will all be one family under one God. I hope your time in our country will be remembered with joy all your life. Thank you very much.
The International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences.
The conference has all too quickly come to a close, considering the complexity of the issues covered during the 4 days. At the closing plenary session, the chairmen give a report of their committee's findings. Based upon the Reverend Moon's founder's address, Dr. Kaplan presents a resolution for ratification by the participants.
For communication amongst the various social and natural sciences. Be it resolved that we, first of all, express our heartfelt appreciation and recognition to our founder, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, whose vision and commitment have inspired this conference. And be it further resolved that on this occasion, we scientists and scholars commit ourselves to the common task of bettering the well-being of mankind. Be it further resolved that as an expression of our desire to end human suffering, we applaud the spirit of Reverend Moon's proposal outlined in his founder's address that led to his conception of an international highway to link people together and to realize the future peace of the world. I hope that we have your support in this.
Here, there are problems of interest not only to the social scientists, but to the physical scientists, and there's a very important dialogue that takes place here at these conferences. And I think this is very important.
I've attended many of the sessions. I've met some very dynamic scientists and scholars from all over the world. It's a marvelous opportunity. I don't know any other group doing this kind of job of this magnitude.
And the thing that most impressed me personally at the conference from the beginning, even up to the present, was the fact that Reverend Moon has shown a kind of foresight, I think I would even say vision, in bringing together men and women from many nations. I mean, this was an international conference in every sense.
It's also been an opportunity for me personally to listen and participate in discussions with physicists, chemists, biologists, anthropologists, people from other disciplines that I otherwise might not have had the opportunity. So the personal rewards to me are outstanding, and I'm very, very grateful and very appreciative to Reverend Moon for his vision and his work in making this kind of conference happen.
I felt that the conference was well organized. We had some very fine subjects, and presentations were excellent. I think it was a fitting 10th anniversary for the conference itself.
Well, it's probably the most important conference in the world in terms of getting so many people from such diverse backgrounds and people who are foremost in their disciplines.
The final event was held at the Little Angels School of the Arts. The Little Angels, founded by the Reverend Moon, are originally a children's Korean folk ballet troupe, world famous as ambassadors of peace and goodwill. In 1974, the school was established to offer an excellent education in academic subjects with an emphasis on music, dance, and fine arts. The school includes elementary, middle, and high school grades with a total of 3,600 students. It is the first stepping stone in a plan to build the Sun Myung Moon University in Korea. The farewell banquet hosted by the Reverend and Mrs. Moon coincided with the grand opening of the Little Angels Performing Arts Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Lee Suk Hwang. I am a member of the Little Angels of Korea. We welcome you and thank you very much for your coming. I like you very much. Do you like me too? Thank you. I hope you like our show tonight. Thank you.
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the time has come to bid farewell, more so than in other years. I feel that time has gone too quickly. I hope you all enjoyed our 10th conference in Korea. Thank you. Korea is coming a tourist paradise, and I am planning to build some resort here. Why? Because I want you to come to live here when you retire. Thank you. Once you retire in Korea, you will live a long time. When you drink our ginseng tea and our Ilhwa living water, and see the beauty of our deep blue sky, from that day, you will stop getting old. Our ICUS conference is now 10 years old. It is my firm conviction that these conferences have contributed a great deal to the well-being of mankind. I assure you that your work will go on. All of you are the champions of this task. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations. I hope you will all leave my country with a desire to come back soon. May God bless you and bless your families. I want to say farewell and see you next year in Philadelphia, USA. Thank you very much.
In the history of scientific development, there has never been a more crucial time concerning the future of the world. For the common man to the most brilliant scientist, it is evident that we are in need of lasting solutions to the world's pressing problems. The responsibility does not fall on one nation or people alone. It must be a united and sustained effort, transcending racial, national, and philosophical barriers, utilizing the full spectrum of scientific knowledge for the prosperity of all. In the past 10 years, the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences has emerged as a hopeful phenomenon, providing scientists and scholars with the opportunity to meet together and explore the solutions to the problems facing our world today.